So yesterday we went to the wedding salon wedding expo. We almost weren't allowed in. I'll tell you why I'm going, how it went, what were the samples. But this is part of the I swear New York City can be affordable campaign. Like I think it's a campaign to myself. I'm looking for free things to do around New York City. It doesn't have to be samples. It doesn't have to be food. It could be experiences, shows. So far we did summer streets, free beer and focaccia, and like some sort of peephole with Giada, a full lunch at a new burger place. Like, so I'm trying to document it. We're videotaping it. You know, it's me and Xerxes, and we're riding our bikes around New York City. And yesterday, the wedding expo. So here's the deal that I made with myself and with Xerxes. I'll look for things to do. They'll be free and it'll be our bike ride. So worst case scenario, we bike to something so stupid with such a long line or something just, I don't know, and ended up being a dud. That's all right. That's our bike ride for the day. And we move on with our lives. This bike ride to the wedding expo, it was on the Lower East Side. So it was on Bowery, right by the Williamsburg Bridge. I'm forgetting exactly how far it was, but I'm going to say at least 6 miles, probably 7. So that's 14 miles round trip. That's a fairly long ride, and that Williamsburg Bridge is no joke. Of course, I have a pedal assist bike, but Xerxes is raw dogging that bridge. So, and there's two, what? No, later on we took another bridge. So it was a long, very fun day with some frustration. I have things to say about this wedding expo. First of all, let's get to, I found it. You needed to register. I registered. I, filled out whatever info they want. And the thing is like, I get why venues or places, I get why expos happen. I get that they want your email. And I'm like, hey, this is a decent exchange for me. You get this information and I get your whatever your thing is. So I registered. And a couple days ago, I got an email with the subject, your wedding salon tickets are on hold. Oh, let's read the email because I can't imagine I didn't register properly. Thank you for your RSVP. To process your registration, hold on, we need to slide this thing over. To process your registration, we need a little more information. Please provide 2 of the following. My jaw dropped. See if your jaw drops. They want a link to a wedding registry created more than 30 days ago. So you can't just be like, I want to go to this. Let me throw some things up in the registry. Wedding website created more than 30 days ago. Wedding venue and date. Screenshot of your engagement on social. Okay. And then spouse name, email, and photo of ring. Thank you so much. Please note that this is very important. Please note that promotional admission is reserved for qualified guests only. Wedding salon reserves the right to refuse or deny entry. What? Who are you? Refuse or deny entry to your sample parade? To your vendor selling expo? Okay. So I was like, never has a place like followed up like that. And we did go to a wedding expo in Philly. It was completely free. It was way bigger than this one too. And I had to look online for prices. Like when I registered, I think, I had to put in a code. I think the code is free. So I guess always try that. And my cart went to 0, but I forgot how much it cost. I look online. These tickets are $125, granted for 2 people, $150 if you're VIP. I don't know. I think you get an extra goodie bag or something, but it's like, and I feel like goodie bags, it's weird to promote that in this way. I don't know, whatever. It's $25 extra. You're still 2 people. I don't know. I didn't even see a VIP area of some sort. Maybe you got to skip the ridiculous line. We'll get to that. So I was like, okay, $125. Maybe I'm getting like this big deal expo thing that's going to be like, you know, a full catering situation or something that like maybe I'm thinking too small. So I returned that guy's email. I said, we're not there yet with all of this. The only thing I could share is the ring and fiance. Let me know if that works. He said, now a different me would just be like, oh, I guess I can't go in. Like, this isn't for me. No, this is stupid. He said to send that, and I sent pictures of us. I sent pictures of us. I CC'd Xerxes. Um, and I even added like a kissing picture. Um, and I say pick a different way to do it. This is quick. I know you want appropriate people in your space, but this weird you registered but now proved something. It's like if you were to go to a car expo, like, okay, what car do you own right now? Send us a picture. How much do you really care about cars? Is it in your Insta? What? Find a different way to curate that. If you're giving out free tickets, then give it out in a promotional way. Maybe say like, hey, hashtag salon weddings in your social picture showing off that you're engaged, and we will send you a ticket. Or I don't know. I'm not a promotional person, but this seems stupid, excessive, ridiculous, frivolous, like cheap, gross, icky, all of those things. When we went to the Philly Expo, we gave them the email. All the vendors started emailing us. Again, I get that that's the exchange. This place was giant. They had all kinds of diverse samples of things, meaning like, of course, they have the there's always people walking around in wedding dresses. There's DJs and bands, and there was different food little samples and bachelorette parties, vacations. All of that was in this expo as well, but the Philly one was so much bigger that it had like more niche options as well. Like getting rid of your hair, like special grooming, special I don't know. It was just so much bigger that they were maybe this had place had grooming also, but there was a special booth I think in Philly just to make sure you have no hair for that honeymoon. So anyway, we got there. Like I said, it's Lower Part Bowery, which used to be so different. Now there's a Whole Foods, and now Whole Foods isn't even zhuzhy. Don't even get me started. Okay, there's a line when we get there. Okay, so maybe that's the line of people registering or just getting their ticket. So I asked a person with a clipboard of some sort or an iPad. It's the clipboard of now. I'm just being old. So I said, hey, we have tickets. Do we need to wait on this line? I think she giggled. What? Do we have tickets? Is this the line for people for tickets and people who have registered already? Uh, how is that an answer? You're the authority here. What? And now I'm not saying that. I just kind of go, so do we have to wait in line? And she goes, yeah, you still have to wait in line. Like, I think I heard you. Okay, I gotta wait in line. So now we're waiting in line, and it's not a regular line. This is a few dozen people deep. And I'm thinking, how long does it take to take tickets at the door? Are you holding people so that you make sure you have a line? There's no one videotaping it, but it just feels rude. And then I'm thinking, like, these are $125 tickets and these people are patiently waiting in line. The expo already started and it looks like we're going to be here for a while. So I start asking people online, hey, did you pay for these tickets? And they're like, no. One or two of them was like sheepishly saying no, like just in case I paid the 125, I think. So I relieved them of such guilt and said, no, I didn't pay. And everyone I asked in line, they didn't pay. So I think they're faking the funk with this $125 ticket that nobody's buying, telling you that you got this big deal and then making you wait in line. I don't know. But while we're waiting in line, that person comes around with the iPad and now we're registering again? I had to fill out another form. So I started filling out my name, but then I got to Wedding date. So, and what again with all of this. So filling out the form to answer wedding date, I wrote, how many forms do I need to fill for this? And then for budget of the wedding, mind your business. It's too late. I'm online. Budget, I go, why is this line to get in so long? Instagram, I wrote, and you need this too? And then it had a box that you have to check that says, I attest I am engaged and can show proof to receive my tickets. I need you to attest that you sold one of your $125 tickets for this BS. Who is paying for that? Now, as people are waiting patiently in line, they're not huffing and puffing, but you can kind of hear little murmurs of like, there better be a full-size cake for us by the time we get in. They're like, this better be a big deal. I say find other ways to vet things. Make it I don't know, you have to wear specific clothing, like, don't let us in with our sweatpants and leggings or something. I don't know, because you seem to want very special things, and then you're making people wait in line. All right, whatever. Let's get to the samples. There were not full-size cakes, but nobody was really expecting full-size cakes. There was a setup of like it's a wedding, which I thought was a really good idea. There's a band on stage. Well, when you walk in, the line continues, okay? Because there's one person checking someone in and one person giving them their bracelet, sometimes helping them put it on. What? Is this how our wedding guests will be treated? You don't know how to move a line? You don't know how to stop bottlenecks? Isn't this part of an experience that you're trying to give? Boo. Okay, so the first room is sort of like, hey, you can have this entry, you can have people sign the guest book or whatever, but there's a small little bar set up. There's a couple of vendors there. One of them was like lingerie. I think anything you could think of that you need to think of was there. Inside there was like a room with a dance floor. There's a band on stage. There's a sort of place setting so you can see, like, would you like your tablescape to look like this? Would you like your floral decor to look like this? I think the band was a little too loud because we're trying to talk with you look like you can kind of hear my voice went a little bit because we're shouting the whole time. Like, I remember leaving the venue going, oh my God, New York City is so quiet. Okay. So, but I like the idea of it setting up like a wedding. And I like the idea of this is what your flowers could look like. This is what your aisle could look like, whatever it is. Funnily enough, the first sample venue we went to was cotton candy, which of all things that you're going to have at your wedding, it's a very interesting choice of sample. Like, this is an example of what you might need or have, like, look, this is a luxurious example of a wedding thing. Now, I have not had cotton candy in such a long time. And I used to make cotton candy when I did kids' parties. And even then I didn't really partake too much because because I was trying not to eat it all back then. But also it wasn't necessarily worth the constant calories. I wanted to eat food, but I forgot how fun cotton candy is. So, like, just slapping that in your face, it's so, wait, that was I get it. Okay. But that was fun. And then I thought, oh, maybe that's why, like, now I'm at a wedding and I'm like, oh, fun, cotton candy. Ooh, we're back to being kids again. So that person, there was one person making cotton candy and another person was like, hey, sign up for this raffle or whatever. And I go, I'm not sure I'm going to be here. I just stood in line for an hour to get in here. I think you vendors should know that. And she goes, oh my God, is that why no one's here? She goes, it was 5 o'clock. And I'm like, where is everybody? I go, there's dozens of people out there. This place would look a lot fuller and you'll have a lot more people. But they're just, you need to know that, like, there's just people waiting to be checked in. She was like, wow, okay, thanks for letting me know. She was dumbfounded as to how few people she's getting to interact with as the vendor in this place. Anyway, then there's a cake, a couple of tables with cakes and little cute sample boxes. I love the packaging on this, and I think packaging is important when you're sampling, when you're doing this kind of event, and it was very, very cute. But I said this in other sample videos that I got, like in the falafel one especially. When you're saying, hey, this is going to be the experience of your guests, of yourself, of your partner, of whatever, here it is. That cake sucked. I think a cake out of a box would have tasted better. And I think what you're doing is, hey, look, free thing. You like free things. As long as it's free, I can just give you a packet of sugar. And you're like, oh, this thing. But shouldn't you be putting out your best stuff? Maybe that's your best stuff, but why bother? I don't know. And also, are people's cakes at weddings good? Like, in order to make that amount of tiers and that much decor and spend that much time on what it looks like, I heard that a lot of people had like foam cakes, and then you just have like a little bit of cake in the front. So when you do the ceremonious, cut the cake thing, you have something to cut into, but the rest of the cake is like fake. Is that a thing? Because I could see why that's a thing. I could see why that could be a thing. It's so expensive to do the cake thing. All right. Then we went to this coffee station, and this coffee was the best. It was really good, and your options were fantastic. I got a cappuccino, of course, but there was like a mochaccino, there was hot chocolate, there was an affogato, I think it's called. That's what Xerxes got. I got a cappuccino because I think coffee's really good with all the sugar we're about to eat, because most of this stuff was sugar samples, cake and cotton candy. I mean, already it's logging in. Unfortunately, I need some sugar in my coffee, so there it is, adding more. But the coffee actually tasted good. Here's the problem, and I spoke to the person who was taking our order, kind of, and there's only one person doing coffee. Now he's got to like froth the milk and make the espresso, and it's one cup at a time. And it tasted really good. So I asked her, hey, if I have a wedding this size, and maybe it's 50, 100 people, how is this line going to work? And she's like, well, you're booking it for 4 hours, so the line's not going to get big. They're just going to always have that option. So I guess it's like a bar. Like, people don't need 1 hour to go to the bar. They just leisurely go. But I said, but what if you want it just with your dessert? It's flustered her to no end. She's like, give us a call. We'll work. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, just have it for 4 hours. And I'm like, I don't think she's getting the coffee is the final bite sort of idea. And I get having the coffee thing the whole time. But how do you guys feel? Because I always I could see having coffee the whole time, because why not? Like, just have coffee when you want to have coffee. But I could see it being as like, these are the first drinks, and there's champagne, and then there's coffee. I don't know. It just seems like another thing. But here's what was also fun about this coffee place. You can put a message, an entire picture on the foam, and it came out looking really good. They gave us a thing with writing on it, and they like kind of stamp it on the foam, but the ones with the pictures that they showed in the pictures, so you can have like you and your spouse, your soon-to-be spouse, your fiance, whatever. You can have you guys together, and they stamp it on the thing. It was so cute. Now, Xerxes is not a fan. He's like, no, I don't, no, just, you could at best make one of your leaf things with the foam. And I'm like, but you wouldn't want, and there's nothing that you would want on there. I get that it's kind of cheesy to put your faces on it. And he's like, no, I get it if it's somebody's wedding and we get a foam full of somebody's face. But I don't know. I find those things so cute. I get it obviously it's luxury. It's so unnecessary, but how cute. And so while I was talking to her, she said, do you have a grinder? And I'm like, no. Xerxes goes, yes, I have a grinder. And I'm like, oh yeah, we just don't use it for coffee. But she gave us some grinds. Now I'm just thinking, I can't wait to try this because, and this is not an ad, like she just happened to give this to me, but, because the coffee was actually good, I'm wondering if it is the beans that they're using. It was a very non-bitter coffee, and I think coffee's pretty bitter. It was just so smooth. All right. Then we got a couple cupcakes. Meh. Ice cream where ice is more than cream. I actually tasted like a little piece of ice in it, so cutting corners, boo. And then there was a car guy. I love this guy. New Yorker. He's like, if you want a car, if you think of a car, I have it. I have it. You're going to look on the website. There's going to be 22 cars. You don't see the car you like. Trust me, I have it. I have 200 cars. I have the cars that you think about, that you don't think about. I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much. Now, I'm not a car person, but I love a good bathroom car. Follow me on this. Okay. Pretend you won the lotto and you live in New York City. Here's the thing. New York City has, okay, I get it. If you won the lotto, you could probably find bathroom, but New York City has no bathrooms, no public bathrooms. It's the toughest part of New York City, and you're walking everywhere. And most people don't have cars, so it's not like you can like go back home really quick. A lot of people take all of their stuff for the day, even when you're driving, and you don't go back home. So bathrooms are the biggest commodity you can go to. Here's a couple tips. Starbucks at this point is like a homeless shelter in the bathroom. And people are very disrespectful in Starbucks bathrooms, but hotel lobbies a lot of times have bathrooms. Bars, obviously, because they're better than restaurants. In restaurants, you're greeted by someone, you're expected to sit down. Bars, I used to do this thing where like I'm on the phone as I walk into the bar, so they don't ask me anything like, like, what are they going to do? Why didn't you go directly to the bar? But, what else is good for? Oh, and Trader Joe's. Now, there's not a lot of Trader Joe's, but their bathrooms, that's a weird gesture to do for a bathroom. I acknowledge it, and we move on. Oh, so the car guy, he's showcasing cars that are for like bachelorettes for parties, which is so fun because it's like the new limo. I think with the old version of limo, you crouch in, you're all facing one direction. It's very, very strange. It's somewhat uncomfortable, but it's fun because you're all in a car together. This, it's like a living room or multiple living rooms. There's a bathroom in there. Nobody has to drive, and people are drinking, and whether you want to or not, like you're just not in the right headspace, even if everyone's partying and you're the one driving. It's super fun. Just the idea of like the fun continues and not one person has to be the designated driver. Now, I don't drink, but you kind of like it, you take on the responsibility, and that means like less fun for that person. So I totally think that like the fun busting, all of these are luxuries. I get it. That's pretty fun though. And then we met this tea lady. Oh, I'm forgetting your name. Is it Miriam? She was the coolest person at this place. Okay. So she leans in and she's like, there's a bunch of teas that they're showcasing in different flavors and stuff. And it's a nice setup. And she leans in and she's more talking to Xerxes, but both of us, but she's closer to Xerxes. And she goes, I have this kind of tea, I have that kind of tea, and then I have tea that has like THC in it. And he goes, oh, I'm interested in that. And she goes, duh. Oh, you're interested in the weed one. Big shock. She does this whole like, duh dance at Xerxes. He's cracking up. I'm cracking up. She's cracking up. And she's so cool. She goes, I have a daughter your age and I'm 50. She grew up in New York. She told us a little bit about the story. I'm like, I want your story for hours. And she goes, well, what do you guys do? I told her about Gilmore Friends, and she's like, I'll go on your Gilmore Friends podcast and I'll talk about things. And she's like, I've seen Gilmore Girls before. And I'm thinking, she would, because she's our mother's age. She has a child our age, me and Carrie. And Carrie's a little younger than me. But and also happy birthday, Carrie. Um, but what a perspective. We would kind of get the Emily perspective on Gilmore Friends. So she said she'd be in touch. I hope she does. Her brand is called High Tea. But I hope she directly is in touch because, yeah, she has coffee also, which goes with Gilmore Friends, and we'll talk about it. Anyway, if you don't know about Gilmore Friends, please, gilmorefriends.com. Then there's the booze. And so I think a lot of the booze people, they have like here, the setup is really nice and the drinks are a little different than what you normally hear. And you could do like your own couple drinks, like a very specialized drink. We got some of that. Yuck. Is that your special drink? Is that what you can come up with? Who's mixing for you? What's going on back there? Also, I'm a lightweight, and I'm talking really light. Tasted, smelled, and experienced no booze in your booze drink. I get it. You're not trying to get anybody drunk, but like if I'm not feeling it, and also it doesn't taste like refreshing and awesome and like, ooh, let me go back to that. Like, I don't know, put a mint in it, a raspberry. The reason why I'm being so harsh on this is because you are giving us the experience that our guests are going to get. And like, this drink sucks. It's not even cold. Now, the actual food, because everything was like ice cream and cake and cotton candy, the actual food was like in the back, and there was sort of a charcuterie board that has been through something. This is the after hours of charcuterie board. And I love a good charcuterie board, but if you don't get there first, it's not a good look. and no one's like adjusting for it. No one's either replenishing or taking it away. Again, is that what people are going to experience? And we got at some point when we got the coffee and like the cupcake, we sat down at one of the tables with the tablescapes and all of that. We kind of got in trouble. Somebody was like, that's just a sample. Please be careful. Don't get anything on it. And we're like, okay, what a great experience. And I get it. It's supposed to be a showcase, but I don't know. Your thing is 3 hours long and I need to sit. I have 2 samples in my hands and you don't have enough places for me to put anything down. So great. And at the end, we all got a goodie bag. Apparently, you didn't have to be VIP. Ours had like popcorn, this mini champagne, bride magazines, appropriate things, but like, okay. And later we joined Carrie for her birthday celebration on Carrie Day. Happy birthday, Carrie Gravenson. And we gave her the goodie bag. So we were the last ones at the party. And we drank the mini champagne with another one of our friends. And it was mini, so it was like a small group of people. We basically had a shot of champagne. Boo. No. I think I got a little sick. I was like, no. That's the experience. That's the expo. That's the samples. What do you think I'm being too harsh? Because I think this is an example of, again, what people who spent a lot of money with their guests were going to experience. I think if you need to curate your list of people who are engaged, you don't try to embarrass the people going to your expo when you're trying to give away your tickets for free. And you don't fake charge $125, but then, threaten to like not let people in. This is very strange. Find different ways of curating. I don't know. Anyway, there's more to come. So share this with someone who could enjoy it, who you think you can enjoy it, and look at the buttons in front of you. If you could press one of those, that'd be nice. Thank you. More to come.